Okay, everyone, welcome to Kailul Kol Shira in partnership with, of course, Breslov.org, Breslov Efrat, and, of course, Yeshiva Ateret Shimon. All the wonderful organizations that we're affiliated with, and it's an honor to work with each and every one of them, and I strongly believe in the importance of each one of the organizations in helping bring Yidden closer to Hashem. Here we go. We will discuss now, with Hashem's help and Siyata D'Shmaya, the Parshas of the week. Very exciting Shabbos. It's Shabbos Vayakhel-Pekudei. We will do the fourth of the four special readings, getting us ready for Pesach. We'll be reading this week Parshas HaChodesh. Amazing, real beautiful. And how beautiful is it that this week's we're also going to be benching Shabbos Mevorachim. So apropos, and there's so many beautiful things to discuss. To discuss the ideas of Parshas Vayakhel and Pekudei, how we really had the Parshas we really spoke about these same ideas in Parshas Truma and Parshas Tetzaveh. And now the Torah goes over and shows us that, yes, we were told about it, but now we are actually doing it and we actually accomplished it. So it's a very, very important thing. So we'll see some beautiful ideas from the Baal Shem HaKadosh, from Rabbi Nachman, of course. And we have a nice story also from the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh. We'll do at the end that'll tie together the teachings of the Baal Shem and Rabbi Nachman. Remember, Rabbi Nachman was the Baal Shem Tov's great grandson. So it's very apropos to connect the two together. Here we go. The parsha begins with a meticulous cheshbon, a meticulous counting of the zahav, the gold, the kesef, the silver, the nechoshes, the copper. The Medrash notes that after the completion of the Mishkan, there were leftovers. In other words, Klal Yisrael, the Bnei Yisrael, they donated from their Nediva slave, for they gave the generosity of their heart. They gave so much that there was a surplus that remained. Unbelievable. The Baal Shem Tov explains, B'makim shemach shavtoi shel adam shamhu nimsa. Very, very profound words. Very, very deep words. B'makim shemach shavtoi shel adam shamhu nimsa. You are where your thoughts are. You are where your thoughts are. We believe that you are where you're found. The Baal Shem says, Baal Shem Tov teaches us something very special. You are where your thoughts are. And that goes into understand Rabbi Nachman's idea of ratzon. To understand the idea that we all understand that we have bechira, free choice. But truly, as my Rebbe, Rabbi Moshe Weinberg, he should be well, and he always says that bechira is very overrated. What does it mean, bechira is very overrated? Well, look, we understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu designs everything a person's going to do. Everything a person's going to do is decided and it's destined by the Rabbeinu Shalom that what we each and every one of us will do. So if that's the case, where is our free choice? Our free choice is, how do we perceive it? How do we perceive the situation we find ourselves into? That is our ratzon. How do I deal with it? Do I realize that any time I deal with something in my life that's a little bit difficult, that I find myself in a trial or tribulation, I find myself in a situation, and I stop to think, wow, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is putting me through this for a reason. And I can understand that I can really always come closer to Hashem through any situation. That is our Bechira. Not what we will do. No, how, when we did something, how do we view it? If I did something good, do I thank the Rebbeinu Shalom that he allowed me to do it good? Or do I pat myself on the back that I did it? You did it? Really? Where did you get the koyach to do it? It was given to you by the Rebbeinu Shalom. So again, really, like the Baal Shem HaKadosh is saying, B'mokim shemachshavtoi shel adam shamhu nimsa. There are people that can be living in the far out places in the on the four corners of the earth, but they can be so connected to Eretz Yisrael. They can be so connected to Mekaymes HaKadoshim. They can be so connected to it because they're thinking about it. Again, the Mokim Shemachshavtei Shel Adam Sham Hu Nimsa. In other words, it's not where you physically are. And of course, it's wonderful to be physically at Mekaymes HaKadoshim. But there are many people that can find themselves in the holiest places, but they're dreaming about something else. They're dreaming about being somewhere else. They're not. So in other words, they're there, but they're not there. Because where are you? You are where your thoughts are. So if my thoughts are, I'm in a very special place, but if my thoughts are somewhere else, yes, I may be physically there, but my thoughts are where I truly am. A very beautiful understanding to understand what the Baal Shem is teaching. Okay, when the people gave to the Mishkan, they're Nediva slave. The Torah told us, take whatever is dear to the person. Okay. They didn't just give metal. They gave their rotzen. They gave their will. They had a desire to want to give, rotzon. And the leftover materials represent the infinite potential of a Jewish heart. Even after the physical building is completed, the Shekhinah dwells there because of the love that could not be contained in physical vessels. The Shekhinah dwells there because the love that could not be contained in physical vessels, because again, it's the Ratzon. The Shekhinah loves that. It can't be contained in physicality. Rabbi Nachman teaches the art of hischadshut, newness. To understand we're always new people. Wow, that's a very, very important teaching. It's one of the most important teachings. Why? The Yetzer Hara always wants a person to believe you are who you are, you did what you did, you are who you are, and you can never change. That's the profound teaching. That's what the Yetzer Hara wants us to understand. You can never change. You did what you did. You damaged whatever you did whatever it is. It's done. You can't change it. No. Rabbi Nachman says absolutely not. Absolutely not. Every day we are a new being. We are not the same person we were yesterday. Yes, we may think we are the same person that we were yesterday, the same way that Baal Shem Tov teaches The idea you are where your thoughts are. So I may think I am the same person I was yesterday. But we say in our tefillah every morning, "Hamechadesh betuvay b'chol yoyim tamid maaseh bereishis." What does that mean? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu recreates the world anew every single day. Every single day there is a hischadshus. And therefore the Rebbe always teaches us, Ein shum yeyosh ba'olam. We never give up and we always try again. And the Rebbe teaches us that even if you started your day and your day didn't go the way you wanted it to, start again. Start again. You fell, get up again. We know that the very, very important teaching from Habakkuk is Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam. The Tzadik falls down 7 times V'Kam, but he keeps getting up. He gets up every time. And that's the idea that we're learning in our classes in the morning in Likutei Halachos. Now we're learning Hilchos Birchas Hareyach. We're learning the idea of being a baki berotzi, baki b'shav, how to come close to Hashem, and how to keep that closeness dear and near to you when you leave from that closeness to Hashem. We call that the Rishima. Rishimu. The Rishimu is what's left. We had the beautiful understanding. What is a Rishimu? The same way when you take a glass and you fill the glass up with oil, if you would take that same glass and now pour out the oil, is the glass empty? No. There will be an imprint along the walls of the glass. If you filled up a measuring cup, if you filled up a glass or a plastic cup, whatever it is, with oil, there'll always be something remaining on it. The Rebbe teaches us, Reb Nosson explains so well to us, that any time you feel connected close to Hashem, that is considered like the cup is full. That's the zricha. It's full. But then nothing good ever lasts. It always will. You will always have a yerida, and we always learn that the yerida is only there l'tzorech the aliyah. The same way, if someone would ask you to jump as high as you can, what would you do? Would you stand as tall as you can and then try to jump? Or would you try to crouch as low as you can to then be able to spring up? That idea is the idea that the Torah teaches us, to understand that it means that the tachlis of every yerida is only the aliyah. There's a reason why we go down. The reason why we fall down is so we can go back up higher. That the Rebbe Shalom is always testing us to see if we're ready to go to the next level. Therefore, he tests us, he knocks it, we fall down to see if we can get up. Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam. That's the sign of a tzaddik. You fall down, but you're able to get back up. Okay, that's the idea of hischadshus. Now, Rabbi Nachman connects the completion of the Mishkan to this idea of the renewal. Why do we read about the beginning of the calendar exactly when we finish the building of the Mishkan? In other words, we're going to be reading we're finishing this week's Parsha is Chazak. This week's Parsha, we're going to be reading Parshas HaChodesh, because the danger of finishing a project is spiritual stagnation. The moment you think you are finished, you have become old. Parshas HaChodesh tells us and teaches us how that the physical walls are up. Your work of internal renewal is just beginning. So yes, the Mishkan was built. But now the Avodah begins. The Mishkan was there to give us the edifice, the building, the structure that we would be able to house. That we would be able to house the Mizbeach, the Mizbeach HaNechoshes, the Mizbeach HaZohav, and we would be able to house the menorah. we're able to house the shulchan and the aron, of course, the integral vessels and the furniture that we had in the Mishkan. Okay. The Baal Shem Tov explains that that Mishkan is the same word as Mashkan. Mishkan and Mashkan. What's a Mashkan? Mashkan's a collateral. Mashkan's a collateral. The ending of Parshas Pekudei describes the Anan. We had the Ananei HaKavod, the clouds of glory that filled the Mishkan. The Baal Shem notes that the word Mishkan is the same word linguistically related to Mashkan, a pledge, or like the word, like we said, collateral. He teaches us that Hashem took the physical world as a pledge. Every time a Yid performs a mitzvah with simcha, they redeem a piece of the world. Unbelievable. You know, I had the opportunity to be by the holy Arizal's kever about 2 weeks ago. It was special to be by the Arizal's kever. I'll tell you why. They asked the Arizal, how did such a young man accomplish so much in such a short time? You know what the answer he gave was? I learned the art of how to do a mitzvah b'simcha. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do a mitzvah with a sense of joy. Whatever mitzvah you're doing. If you're baking challah for Shabbos, do it with joy. If you're lighting your candles, do it with joy. Infuse joy into your mitzvah. Be joyful that you have the opportunity to do a mitzvah. Amazing. Anybody can do that. You're putting on your tefillin, you're wearing your talis, you're wearing your tzitzis, or whatever you're doing. You can always do the mitzvah with simcha. Every time you do the mitzvah with simcha, you're redeeming another part of the world. You're rectifying the world. You're bringing the world to its final harmony. You're bringing the world to its final purpose of creation. Doing a mitzvah b'simcha. But now, here's the most important part. In Vayakhel, we all gathered together. We gathered together. The community gathered. The Baal Shem Tov explains that Achdus, unity, is the only vessel that's strong enough to hold the Or Ein Sof. If we want to have and hold and house the light of the Rabbeinu Shalom and be infused with the bright light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we can only contain that if we have a sense of Achdus, if we are really one, if we look past all of the differences of the way people dress, and we look differences past the way people perform their mitzvahs, and there are modern Orthodox, there are Hasidic, there are different sects of Hasidism, there are different Sfardim, there are Syrians, there are Moroccans, there are Teimanim and different ones. But we have to realize one thing: we're all one people, and we have to be unified. Because we're a small nation. And if we can be unified, we become invincible. Our enemies know that. Our enemies know that. That's why when October 7th happened, right, that we're still dealing with the aftermath of that. But when October 7th happened, it only happened, why? Because there was such peirud. There was such separation amongst Klal Yisrael. And they know that's when they can attack and they'll be successful, as they did. So again, the Rabbeinu Shalom is teaching us over here, and Rabbi Nachman and the Baal Shem HaKadosh, the idea, if we want to have the Or Ein Sof, if we want to be able to feel the Or Ein Sof, what do we need? We need Achdus. We need to have Achdus. Unity. Let's see. Now, Now, let's just do a summary here. All right. So we have HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. This month should be the month for you to renew. That's Nisan. I'd like to just talk about one thing quickly. If you go back to Sefer Bereshis and the first Rashi in Bereshis, Rashi asks a very good question. Why did the Torah begin with the story of creation if the story is a law book? If we have mitzvos, if the Torah is a book of mitzvos, why does the Torah begin with the story of creation? So Rashi brings from Rabbi Yitzchak a quote from Tehillim, chapter 111. Koyach masav higid liyamai. Koyach masav higid liyamai. What does that mean? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us, showing us, I am the one that created the world. It's my world, Hashem says. I want you to know that. And I am the one that places whichever people where they are. It's Hashem that does that. It's not us. It's Hashem. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says like this, to let you know that I was the one that placed the 7 nations in Eretz Yisrael. And I gave them the opportunity to serve me. I gave them the opportunity to keep the Zion mitzvahs b'nei Noach, but they didn't. So since it's my world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I can take them out. I can take those people out, and I can give whoever I want Eretz Yisrael to. And who did he give it to us? The Jewish people. Not the forsaken, what they call Palestinians. There's no such a people as Palestinians. They're gypsies at best. Koyach masav higid liyamai. No Arab has any claim over any inch of land in Eretz Yisrael. No Arab. I don't care who he is, he could be the mufti. You know what I say to him? Go jump in the lake and put he has nothing. He has absolutely nothing. Koyach masav higid liyamai. Eretz Yisrael is ours. It's ours. Remember that. We have to believe that. Amcha Beis Yisrael, with our achdus, has to know that Eretz Yisrael belongs to us. And that's why I am very proud to live in the city of Efrat. I am living in a city that is called a settlement. A settlement? I'm living in Eretz Yisrael. But the world says I'm a settler. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I'm living in the West Bank. West Bank. Well, what are they talking? This is the chelik of Yehuda. I'm living in Gush Etzion. There's no West Bank. What are they talking about? Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. We are doing what we can for Klal Yisrael by keeping our land. Keeping our land. That's what we are doing. Now, I'd like to tell you a story from the Holy Baal Shem HaKadosh. I told you to tie the two teachings, the teachings of Rabbi Nachman and the Baal Shem Tov together. So here's the story. Here is the story. It's a beautiful story. It's called The Story of the Prince and the Invisible Palace. I think it's a very apropos story because, again, this week we are finishing the Mishkan. We have the inauguration of the Mishkan. Beautiful, beautiful. So we have the story of the prince and the invisible palace. There was once a prince who was tasked by his father, the king, to build a palace in a very distant, desolate province. The king gave him enough gold and silver to build the most magnificent structure in all of history. The prince arrived at the site and began his work. He was meticulous. He accounted for every brick and every ounce of gold, just as in Parshat Pekudei, like we spoke about. They made an accounting of everything that we donated. But as the years went by, the prince became very heavy-hearted. He looked at the beautiful stone walls and thought, once I finish this building, my job is over. I will just be a man living in a house of stone. The excitement will vanish, and I will grow old and stagnant. He was falling into the trap of Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Nachman teaches us that we should never fall into that trap of oldness. Lesson 78. One day, the Baal Shem Tov appeared to the prince. He saw the prince counting the gold and looking miserable. Why are you sad? The Baal Shem Tov asked him. Oh, the palace is almost finished. I'm afraid of the day that the building stops. What is a king without a project? What is a soul without a struggle? Many of us are constantly complaining to the Rebbeinu Shalom, why do I have all these struggles for? What is a soul without a struggle? The Baal Shem Tov smiled and pointed to the leftover gold, sitting in the corner. Do you see that surplus? The king gave you more than you needed for the walls. He gave you the extra so you would realize that the physical building is only a mashkan, like we learned. It's collateral. The real palace isn't made of stone. It's made of your machshava, your thought. Remember, the Baal Shem Tov says you are where your thoughts are. He continued, the king doesn't want you to live in a finished house. He wants you to live in a house that is constantly being built. Every morning, you must look at these walls. Find the one corner that you can improve, one room that you can dedicate to a new purpose, a way to bring a new guest inside. The prince realized that this idea of his chadshus, his chadshut, wasn't about building a new palace every day, but about looking at the same palace with new eyes. That's our Torah, the mitzvos. Every day, wow, these are my tefillin. They're special today. We could look at them, I've been putting on these tefillin for the past 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. No. Every day I'm a chadesh betuvei b'chol yom tamid maaseh bereishis. When the first of Nisan arrived, Parshas HaChodesh, the prince didn't declare the project done. Instead, he gathered the people, Vayakhel, and said, today we are finishing the building of the stone, and today we begin the building of our ratzon, spirit. We will never be finished. Every day we will find a new way to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu within these walls. Beautiful, beautiful teaching. Because the prince refused to become old refused to be a zaken. The Ananei HaKavod, never left the palace. It stayed there because the prince's thoughts were always moving, always growing, and always new. Whether it's our homes, our marriages, or our own spiritual lives, we often feel flooded by the routine or the completion of tasks. These teachings tell us, use the leftovers, the reshimu, like we said, that leftover when you pour the oil out, the reshimu. Use the parts of your heart that haven't been built yet. As long as you're starting over, you are living with the Rabbeinu Shalom in his palace. Beautiful ideas tying together the Parshat Vayakhel, that we all came together, Achdus. We must have unity. If we have unity, we can contain the Ananei HaKavod, the Or Ein Sof. If we understand that the Mishkan is completed and it's our job now to now begin, and it's our job now to find and to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with that freshness, then we accomplished it. So this week is a very special week. We're finishing Sefer Shemais. It was a long journey. The 210 years of servitude in Mitzrayim. The leaving of Mitzrayim. The mitzvahs that we had in Mitzrayim. The mitzvahs that we had in Mitzrayim. The mitzvahs of the Karban Pesach and the Milah. The mitzvahs that we had to empty out Mitzrayim. Coming to Kriyas Yamsuf, crossing Kriyas Yamsuf, coming to Maimed Har Sinai, accepting the Torah. Such beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ideas. I'm sorry that the camera fell down. Accepting the Torah anew. Amazing. And then we read last week in Parshas Kisisa, we fell with the Chet HaEgel. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about the Chet HaEgel, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. Because we had a leader, Moshe Rabbeinu. And remember that Moshe Rabbeinu is always with us. The Torah teaches us that where is Moshe Rabbeinu buried? The Sfarim HaKadoshim teach us, in the heart of every Jewish Yid. Reveal Moshe Rabbeinu. And we should all have a beautiful Lechtige Shabbos, a lit Shabbos. We should all be Zeicha to greet Mashiach Tzidkeinu. We should all be Zeicha to march together in Yerushalayim, arm in arm, to greet and see the Binyan Bayis Shlishi on Har HaBayis. Kol Tuv, everybody. Thank you for listening. And please, I'm asking you one thing. When you listen to this video, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, write a comment. Write me a comment, please. Write a comment. I'm asking you, please write a comment. And not only that, please share the class with at least 2 or 3 people. Okay? Share the class with 2 or 3 people. Kol Tuv, everybody.